So you know it's an amazing day when Mark Gurman comes out and gives us some iPad news, stating that we are getting new iPads and some new MacBook Airs in Q1 of next year, which is much earlier than anticipated. So without further ado, let's talk about everything that we know about these iPads specifically, and then also the MacBook Airs. But first, a quick word from our channel partner, Paperlike. Paperlike has partnered with 9to5Mac to bring you one of their newest products. Paperlike has recently released their new Paperlike Cleaning Kit, an all-in-one cleaning solution for the tech users on the go. What makes this cleaning kit so unique is that it's not just some spray bottle and rag. They engineered a product for maximum portability and ease of use. It comes in a hardshell container that is made to protect the microfiber lining of the spray bottle itself. Once you remove the hardshell case, you feel that the spray bottle exterior is the microfiber cloth that is used to clean your products. So all you do is remove the case, spray the cleaning solution onto your tech device, and then use the actual microfiber lining to clean off any fingerprints and or residue on your tech device. It works unbelievably well. The bottle is rated for over 500 cleaning sessions. It is also easy to refill. It includes 5 cleaning tablets that dissolve in room temperature tap water. So when you run out, just refill with tap water, place the pellet, wait a few minutes for it to dissolve, and you're reloaded and ready to go. Oh, and the cleaning solution is alcohol-free and rated to work with any tech product. So if you're looking for a cleaning solution for your tech that's compact, portable, and sustainable, or if you're just looking for the perfect stocking stuffer for your techie family member, this is absolutely the way to go. So for $25, you get the cleaning kit and 5 cleaning solution tablets, meaning if you clean your devices just once a week, that means it should last you over a decade. So be sure to click on the link below to get your hands on the new Paperlike Cleaning Kit. Thank you to Paperlike for continuing to partner with 9to5Mac. Happy cleaning, and now back to some iPad rumors. So as I mentioned, Mark Gurman came out and said that we should be expecting both a new lineup of iPad Airs, and yes, plural iPad Airs, which we'll get into, and then iPad Pros as well in Q1 of 2024. So I want to start with the iPad Air lineup because if you guys thought that the iPad lineup in general was already confusing enough, I'm going to add to that confusion because we are now getting a second version of an iPad Air. So we will still have that 10.9-inch iPad Air. It will most likely have the M2 chip built into it, but Apple's actually making a larger size iPad Air, and the reason is because they want to make an iPad Air Plus model, and I think that's what it's going to be called, kind of with the same justification with what they did with the iPhone 15 regular lineup, which was get rid of the mini version and then give us a Plus model, because a lot of people, they don't really care too much about the internals and the hardware and the spec speed of something like an iPhone 15 Plus or let's say an iPad Pro, but they want that larger screen size and more screen real estate and ideally a larger battery. So I think that is what's going to happen with this iPad Air. So expect to have an M2 iPad Air in the 10.9 variant and then an M2 iPad Air in the 12.9-inch variant, somewhere along those lines. And where the cost savings will come from compared to the iPad Pro is that obviously the iPad Pro is probably going to have better internals, but we will still continue to have that 60Hz LCD panel on both the 12.9-inch and the 10.9-inch iPad Air, probably with some thicker bezels, probably with slower USB-C speeds. So that's what's going to keep it in the iPad Air lineup as opposed to being in that iPad Pro lineup, because there has to be some sort of differentiation between the two iPads. But that is what we should be getting from an iPad Air lineup. Again, normal 10.9-inch iPad Air, and then also a larger iPad Air Plus. We'll see what Apple ends up naming it. And then we have the iPad Pro lineup. So what I think Apple's going to do with this iPad Pro lineup, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a larger size, maybe 14.1 or even 15.3-inch iPad Pro. We're still going to have the 11-inch variant and then a 13 instead of a 12.9. I think Apple's going to find a way to shrink the bezels just a tad, the same way that they shrunk the bezels on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max model and gave us a little bit more screen real estate instead of making the chassis smaller. I do believe we're going to get a true 13-inch display on the larger iPad Pro model, but some of the big differences here is that yes, we're going to get a M3 chip into the iPad Pro most likely, but then also we're going to be getting an OLED display. Now, we don't know if we're going to get the OLED display on both the larger and the smaller iPad Pro, because if you do remember with the M2 and the M1 iPad Pro, we did get many LED displays on those iPads, but only on the larger iPad, whereas the 11-inch iPad Pro continued to have the 120Hz ProMotion display, but in the LCD display tech kind of forefront. So now we're getting OLED hopefully across the board, so there isn't that much more differentiation. All we really want to have is whether or not you want a larger or a smaller screen iPad, and then obviously the corresponding battery, but let's see what Apple does when it comes to those iPad Pros. But we should be getting kind of a 2024-ified iPad Pro, so Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.3, that 120Hz OLED panel, slimmer bezels, everything's just going to be a little bit tighter, a little bit faster, probably faster Thunderbolt speeds as well, so kind of putting their best foot forward to kind of reinvigorate the iPad lineup. So from a form factor standpoint, it's going to be very similar. We might even get some spec'd up camera upgrades. on the iPad Pro side, but form factor is going to be very, very similar. Now, one thing to consider is that I do believe Apple's going to be keeping around things like the Apple Pencil 2, as well as the Magic Keyboard, but those are going to be more for the iPad Air and the iPad Air 12.9 inch. So I believe that the old generation Magic Keyboard, the one that's been around for about 4 years now, will continue to work with the new iPad Air Plus size, as well as the 10.9 inch iPad Air as they currently do. But Mark Gurman is stated that we will be getting a brand new revamped Magic Keyboard for the new iPad Pro lineup. Now, it's supposed to be a little bit more laptop-like, maybe a little bit more aluminum. I just really hope that they make sure they do not make the iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard any heavier than it already is, because the current iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard in the 12.9 inch variant with the Apple Pencil, it is a hefty package that it weighs a lot more than a MacBook Air. So if Apple can somehow, yes, make it sturdier, yes, make it out of aluminum, yes, make the trackpad bigger, but keep the weight as light as possible, do not make it heavier than what it currently is, please. Let's see what Apple does with a brand new Magic Keyboard, but regardless, I'm very excited to see what Apple does because these are products that have been around for about 4 years now with no change. And also, Apple is working on a 3rd gen Apple Pencil to go alongside these iPad Pros, so let's see exactly what that entails. And this should all release with iPadOS 17.4, which should give us a nice new feature set, and we'll see what Apple gives us with 17.4 as well. And then the final leak that we did get is that Apple should be releasing an M3 version of the 13 and the 15-inch MacBook Airs. Everything else will remain exactly the same. It's just going to be a nice little spec upgrade. Maybe Apple will let us go with the M3 Pro in these MacBook Airs because I know that people love the form factor, how thin it is, how light it is, how portable it is. I personally have the 13-inch MacBook Air, the M2 variant, and I absolutely love it in that midnight blue colorway. But for what I use it for, I'm not going to upgrade to the M3 or maybe even the M4 or M5 because I really only use it for surfing the web and things like that. But it should be now the new default when it comes to the entry-level M3 MacBook Airs, and we'll see what Apple does with the M1 MacBook Air. That is the one that's been around for the longest time. It was the first Apple laptop to get the M series chip, which is, again, a big monumental moment, and it's still a very good laptop for the price and what you get out of it at that entry-level price point, but M3 MacBook Airs on the 13 and 15-inch variant will be coming in Q1 of next year as well. But that is going to do it, everybody. Let me know with a comment down below what you think. Are you excited about new iPad Pros? Do you think Apple's going to change anything too much? I think for the most part, it's going to look relatively the same. It'll just be faster. It'll be better. It'll be made for 2024. What I'm most curious about is honestly how the OLED looks on the iPad Pros, what Apple's going to do with the iPad Air Plus size model, and then finally the Magic Keyboard situation. How much better is it going to be? How expensive is it going to be? Will Apple take a Magic Keyboard trade-in for this new Magic Keyboard? Because I can imagine this new iPad Pro at 12.9 inches starting at $1,200, with a Magic Keyboard starting maybe at $450. And at that point, $1,600, $1,700 for an entry-level iPad is pretty absurd. And I do believe Apple might go a little bit crazy with the pricing on kind of like their best of the best iPad Pro, offering right now. But that's going to do it, everybody. If you made it to the end, leave a dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you guys want to watch some more iOS, iPadOS, or macOS videos, click on one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.